in my opinion, if we're gonna be honest and judge players based on how they play, there's a new number 1 overall pick. There is.
Remember when Geno Auriemma passed on Caitlyn Clark for UConn years ago and then doubted her abilities when she entered the WNBA? Well, it looks like Geno is regretting his decision now. Clark isn't just breaking records, she's crushing them like glass ceilings. She's been named Athlete of the Year and Associated Press Athlete of the Year. Meanwhile,
Geno Auriemma, Caitlyn Clark again. The world turns. It's Caitlyn Clark's world. We just live on planet Caitlyn.
UConn's Golden Girl, Paige Bueckers, is struggling to keep up. Once seen as the projected number 1 pick in the 2025 WNBA Draft, she's now not even considered the best player in college basketball. Geno's decision might cost him the next big star in women's basketball.
The delusional fan base that follows her disrespected the WNBA players by saying she's going to go in that league and tear it apart. There were actually odds on she's 3rd or 4th in betting odds on being MVP of the WNBA. These people are so disrespectful and so unknowledgeable and so stupid that it gives women's basketball a bad name. Okay, so the kid was set up for failure right from the beginning.
Let's take a walk down memory lane. Do you remember when Geno Auriemma, the self-proclaimed basketball genius, decided Caitlyn Clark wasn't good enough for UConn? It was like he saw a diamond and chose to skip it for a stone. So, why did Geno pass on Clark? Was it arrogance, bad judgment, or did he just have a bad day? Whatever the reason, it's coming back to haunt him like the spicy burrito you regret eating at 2 in the morning.
Her game is different than Caitlyn's in that she's more of just a distributor, get the ball, her game is more like Sue Bird's game. All right? And not that Sue had the physicality to play in that league, but obviously she's the best point guard ever. But I think her game, the subtleties of her game will translate.
Here's the juicy part. While Geno was ignoring Clark, other coaches were practically fighting for her. They saw what Geno missed, a once-in-a-generation player who could change the game. Clark's high school stats were incredible. She was putting up points like it was a video game, but Geno didn't notice. Instead, he went all in on Paige Bueckers, who seemed like a sure thing. He thought
Geno, baby, if Caitlyn Clark is on the team, it becomes the right team. Because Caitlyn Clark is on it. It's like saying Michael Jordan's not on the right team. It's the right team if Michael Jordan is on the roster.
He had the golden ticket, but now that ticket looks like a dud. The reality is that Clark is now the talk of the town. She's won major awards, including Time Athlete of the Year, SBJ Sportsperson of the Year, and Associated Press Female Athlete of the Year. Meanwhile, Beckers hasn't lived up to the hype. She might not even be the number 1 pick in the 2025 WNBA Draft. But wait, it gets worse. Geno didn't just pass on Clark, he also criticized her. He said her game—
I'm sorry, can we stop judging Paige Bueckers by who she was when she was 19 years old and not judging 23-year-old Paige Bueckers? Because 23-year-old Paige Bueckers is not as good as 21-year-old Olivia Miles. And I mean that. I really mean that.
Wouldn't translate well to college and even called her fans delusional for their high expectations. Ouch. Now, with Clark's success, Geno is probably losing sleep at night. He must be wondering how he missed out on such a star. It's like he aimed for the basket and hit the popcorn vendor instead. That, you know what they say, pride comes. Before everything fell apart, Geno Auriemma made a big mistake, and now he's facing the consequences. His
disrespectful, unknowledgeable, stupid fans. Diana said it best. Ooh boy. Diana said it best. I would like to point out that Diana Taurasi, 6-time gold medalist now, because she dragged her 42-year-old aging bones over to Paris and got an extra gold medal while Caitlyn Clark was sitting at home watching, presumably. Caitlyn Clark's rookie year numbers are better than the sainted, the goated Diana Taurasi. Caitlyn Clark's having a better rookie year than she had. Miss Reality Check herself, Diana Taurasi.
Choice to pick Paige Bueckers over Caitlyn Clark is backfiring badly. Experts are having a field day showing how wrong Geno was. Now, Clark's success is definitely making Geno lose sleep, and something tells me this story isn't over yet. But why is Paige struggling, and could Geno be the reason? Do you remember when Paige Bueckers first exploded onto the scene, lighting up the basketball world with her amazing skills as a freshman?
I don't care how good Paige Bueckers was in high school. I really don't. Like, I'm hearing people mentioning Paige being the National Player of the Year as a freshman as why to draft her 4 years later. I don't care.
Well, it seems like her star is burning out much quicker than expected. Let's break it down. Sure, she's still scoring almost 20 points a game, but that doesn't tell the whole story.
Paige is having a good season so far. I don't think it's her greatest performance or her greatest season so far, and she's struggled in a couple of these games.
Her stats in rebounds, assists, steals, and blocks have all dropped compared to last year. In fact, some of them are worse than her freshman year. That's a big difference from the all-around player we saw when she first entered college. But here's the real kicker: Beckers isn't just underperforming. She's disappearing in big.
But until recently, they are starting their teams. Iowa beat them in the Final Four last season. South Carolina has been on a tear. We have LSU. Tennessee is back in the mix. We have Notre Dame coming up. Like, we have TCU. We have Duke. I'm going to call out the two teams that Ariana and Aaliyah are on. There are these great programs who are taking a new age style of basketball when it comes to coaching, when it comes to system, and it comes to how you're letting your players play, that maybe Geno does need to adapt a little bit.
Games. Remember that week 11-point performance against Holy Cross? Or how about her 8 points in a disappointing game against Louisville? Don't forget about the 11-point loss to Notre Dame, where Beckers didn't make much of an impact at all. Fans are even starting to call her overrated, which really hurts. Can you blame them, though? When you go from being the college player of the year to barely showing up in key games, people are going to start talking. But wait, is it all just Beckers, or is Geno's system part of the problem? Some people are starting to wonder if Geno's old-school coaching style is a poor fit for Beckers. Experts think his approach might be holding her back more than anything else. While Beckers is shooting an impressive 56%.
With Paige Bueckers and the UConn Huskies front and center this season in women's basketball, some fans are starting to question Gino Auriemma's coaching style and wondering if it's truly what's best for Paige.
From the field her best ever, it's clear she's sacrificing aggression for efficiency. In big games, sometimes you need to take risks, but it looks like she's playing it too safe. It's like she's become a basketball librarian, quiet and efficient, but not exactly lighting up the court. And let's talk about.
He basically said, well, Paige just likes to stand around. She's not really aggressive and she's not going to go after the ball. So that's just what Paige likes to do. He kind of threw her under the bus. And a lot of fans are starting to notice that Geno says a lot of things to the media about his team, about his players, that are starting to rub certain people the wrong way.
The elephant in. There are whispers going around that Paige Bueckers might be purposely playing below her usual level to avoid being drafted by the Dallas Wings. It sounds like a twist right out of a soap opera, but with more basketball and less dramatic music. The truth is, while Caitlyn Clark's career is rising fast, Bueckers is struggling and fading quickly. It's like watching a race where one runner is sprinting.
The reason why Paige Bueckers is seen as a formality, the number 1 overall pick, was because she was the best player in the world, her age, in the world when she was 18. Because she was better than Caitlyn Clark 4 years ago. Well, I'm sorry, like, Andrew Wiggins was better than Nikola Jokic when they were 18 years old. What difference does that make? What difference does that make now? Like, I can guarantee you when Michael Jordan was 16 years old, he was cut from his high school team. Like, you don't judge players based on how good they were in a past.
Toward the finish line while the other is moving backwards. The real question is whether Beckers can turn things around or if this is the new normal. Will she rise again like a phoenix from the ashes, or is this the start of a long, slow decline into basketball obscurity? One thing is clear, the pressure is on. Beckers needs to step up her game quickly because in women's basketball, your reputation is only as good as your last game.
Paige Bueckers has been front and center in the women's basketball media landscape. There is so much hype around her, and a lot of people have a microscope on her and the UConn Huskies. A lot of people are expecting Paige to win her first national title this year with UConn before she does declare for the WNBA.
And her most recent performance isn't one to brag about. What's even crazier is that Beckers might not even be the top pick in the 2025 draft anymore. Yes, you heard that right. There's a new player making a big splash and she's taking the basketball world by storm. Let's talk about Olivia Miles. This girl is an absolute force on the court.
I don't see any reason why Olivia Miles should not be #1 overall pick right now. She's 2.5 years younger than Paige. She is 5'10" point guard. She's what, an inch shorter than Paige Bueckers. She is a better point guard. She's just coming off the back of 2 consecutive triple doubles for Notre Dame. And Notre Dame are better than UConn. They just are.
And she's coming for Beckers' spot faster than a cheetah on Red Bull. Miles is not only playing great basketball, she's rewriting the playbook on how to dominate the game. While Beckers is still putting up good points, Miles is proving to be the more well-rounded player. Miles is grabbing 6.8 rebounds and making 7.2 assists per game, far surpassing Beckers' 4.3 rebounds and 4 assists. But it gets even better. Miles isn't just outplaying Beckers, she's making it look easy. Hear us a wild stat.
It really doesn't matter who the higher recruits were, who was better. At this point in time, Olivia Miles is a better player. And especially, you might be saying, oh, but like efficiency. Olivia Miles shoots 55% from the field. They shoot the same percentage from the field. From 3, what? Olivia Miles shoots 40-something% from 3. Paige Bueckers shoots 40.
Olivia Miles became the first collegiate women's basketball player to record back-to-back triple doubles this season. That's not just impressive, that's like something you'd see in a video game. And guess who the last player to do that was? Caitlyn Clark, the legend herself. WNBA scouts are definitely noticing Miles' talent, and they're all in on her. One analyst said, Olivia Miles is the best player in this current college draft class. She is just unbelievable. But it doesn't stop there. Another analyst pointed out that Miles might actually be a better fit for today's WNBA than Beckers. They said, Olivia Miles is a better point guard.
Olivia Miles is a better passer. Olivia Miles runs the show better. Olivia Miles is a better decision maker. And you might be saying, oh, but like Paige Bueckers' efficiency and all this. If your efficiency comes from passiveness, then it is fake efficiency. Anyone can be efficient only shooting catch and shoot open shots and layups and like easy pull-ups. When your efficiency comes at the expense of aggression, it doesn't count.
And added that she's coming off back-to-back triple doubles for Notre Dame. Ouch. That's got to hurt for Beckers and her fans. Hear us where things get really interesting. If Olivia Miles ends up going #1 in the draft, it's not just a blow to Beckers, it's also a huge hit to Gino Auriemma's ego. Imagine thinking you have the next big thing in women's basketball, only to watch someone else take the spotlight. It's a tough pill to swallow.
Like, I don't understand why it's just an automatic given she's the #1 overall pick. She's not been the best player in college, and she is not the best player that's available in this draft. She has been outplayed by Olivia Miles this season. You draft based on who is going to be the best at this point in time. And not only do I believe that Olivia Miles is a better basketball player than Paige Bueckers right now, she's also a much better point guard. I think even if you're trying to argue and Paige Bueckers is better, Olivia Miles is a better point guard, and I think that's very difficult to argue against that point. I think it's very difficult to say that Olivia Miles or Paige Bueckers is better at the point guard position than Olivia Miles, which is why the Dallas Wings are going to play her.
But the bigger question is this: are we seeing a shift in power in women's college basketball? Is this the start of a new era with Olivia Miles leading the charge? One thing's for sure, if Miles continues on this path, we could be witnessing a major change in the landscape of women's basketball. Keeps this up, she could easily surpass. The 2025 draft just got a lot more interesting, and it's not just because of Olivia Miles or Paige Bueckers. This whole situation is shaking up the world of women's basketball. If Beckers doesn't get the top spot in the draft, UConn might need to rethink how they recruit players. It's like the basketball world flipped upside down, and now everyone is trying to catch up. While it's still unclear if Olivia Miles...
Paige Bueckers was better when she was in high school, and I mean that. Paige Bueckers was better at 18 years old than she is at 23 years old. Olivia Miles is constantly improving, has been the best point guard in the country, and she is getting better and better and better as the years going on, and Paige is just doing Paige things. She's being ultra efficient, she's just going to go and take her shots.
Miles will be the new number one. One thing is certain, she's making a huge impact, catching everyone's attention, and giving Paige Bueckers serious competition. But let's face it, the game is moving past Geno Auriemma, and his decisions are starting to hurt. Remember when Geno said Caitlyn Clark's playing style wouldn't work in the WNBA?
That's the worst part about new fans. You know, they have no perspective. There's no context. So they just say ridiculous nonsense.
Well, Clark is proving him completely wrong. She's not just fitting into the game, she's changing it completely. Caitlyn Clark is more than just a good player, she's rewriting the entire playbook of women's basketball. In her rookie year alone, she broke 62 records. That's right, 62. She stepped into the WNBA.
I feel like I'm just scratching the surface. I feel like there's just so many areas that I want to improve in and to continue to get in the gym and work on that every single day.
And claimed those records as her own. But it's not just the numbers that make her special. Clark has the it factor, the one that Geno thought Paige Bueckers had. She's got that superstar quality, drawing big crowds and making her games unmissable events. Attendance and viewership for her games are setting new records. It's like Clark is single-handedly changing how people see women's basketball. And it gets even wilder. Experts are saying Caitlyn Clark isn't just changing women's basketball, she's changing basketball as a whole. Her style of play is drawing...
We're bringing more and more fans to this league, people that have maybe never watched the WNBA before, and it kind of takes your breath away at points.
...in a wider audience and bringing in more fans. Clark is not just playing the game, she's taking it to the next level. Remember all the things Geno said Clark couldn't do? Well, she's doing them and more. He doubted her ability to make it in the WNBA, but every three-pointer she makes proves him wrong. While Geno is back at UConn, likely rewatching old game footage and wondering where it all went wrong.
My expectation is to be one of the best players in the world one day. I wouldn't expect anything less than that.
More history for the FIBA rookie!
At this point, continue to be myself, and I think a lot of good will come from that.
Clark is out there enjoying her success. She's not just playing basketball, she's changing the entire sport. It's amazing to be here witnessing it all unfold. Gino Auriemma's decision to pass on Caitlyn Clark is starting to look like one of the biggest mistakes in college basketball history. Clark is rewriting the record books, and it's clear that Geno missed a major opportunity. Maybe he'll find another star in the future, or maybe he'll admit that he was wrong. But, let's be real, it doesn't seem like Geno will ever admit that he made a mistake. What do you think? Let us know in the comments, like, subscribe.